Ladies and gentlemen, what have we been telling you since day one of this show? What have we been repeating to you again and again and again? We've been telling you one thing consistently, probably the only consistent thing we've been saying, that we are the mixed martial arts rumor mill. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. We were trying to share real news, real facts, and then a certain mixed martial arts outlet started scraping what we were saying, and that's why now we refuse to share news, okay? We don't share reliable information until we hit 100,000 subscribers. We are almost there. We are almost there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The greatest mixed martial arts show in the universe. Okay? You don't want to listen to these other people who are scared of getting things wrong. You want people who are pretty sure that everything they're saying is complete bullshit and they still go ahead with it. Just on the off chance. It may be right. It could be correct. But probably not. Now, we work extremely hard here, okay? We work hard to shape the world of mixed martial arts. Fighter pay. We want fighters to be able to afford to live without having to work at DoorDash. Maybe they'll have to work at Amazon. Alright, Amazon, it's not the worst company in the world to work for. But they will not have to work for DoorDash if they follow our advice. Alright? Can you imagine? Right? Imagine Joe Pyfer was your DoorDash delivery driver. In what universe is that a good idea? He'd turn up, he'd scare the shit out of you, you probably wouldn't get your food, and he'd beat the fuck out of you, and then he's gone. We don't want that. Now, we have a lot of amazing content for you today. And it is my privilege to let you know that I am joined by the creator of this show, the genius. A twinge in his ballsack is the reason this show exists in the first place. It's Simon Feck. Simon, how you doing? Simon, I'm not hearing anything. So I'm just going to continue talking until we can hear you talking. Okay? But you're looking fantastic. You're in 720p. Definitely an upgrade. I'm still on 360. But, you know, these are the sacrifices you have to make when you don't get paid by the UFC to share their news. You have to work with cheap webcams. Let me tell you something else. We've got a huge guest on the show, possibly two. All right? Now, a lot of you said that we would never make it. Now, how can we not be making it and also have two guests? How does that work? We've got guests from across the stratosphere. America, Scotland, Australia. This is one of the most important shows in the history of the internet and possibly broadcast technology. I'm going back to the very first radio wave broadcast. Because were they talking about whoever made the radio? Was it Alexander Graham Bell? I can't remember. But whoever that was, he wasn't talking about weight cutting with Vaseline. He wasn't talking about fighters' rights, letting them get hair plugs. Back me up on this, Simon. Am I right or am I right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck here. Hey, listen, I'm up here in this birdhouse, ladies and gentlemen, and the internet service sucks balls, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck Simon Feck got locked out of his own live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck heard the cue to come in, ladies and gentlemen, yet he was locked out of his own live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so what a great introduction, ladies and gentlemen. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That was one hell of an introduction, ladies and gentlemen. And right when Simon Feck's cue was right there, you think he would have came in and it would have been all, glory, ladies and gentlemen. Something went wrong again, it says, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be kidding me, man. I don't know what's going on, but maybe we're still live,
We're definitely still live. Definitely bringing the MMA rumor mill directly to the people. Okay? We will never get it. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry too. It kicked out the other Simon Feck, the main Simon Feck. So I'm still in here. It's crazy what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen.
They're trying to cancel us. That'll never happen, because even if we get banned from YouTube, we'll go straight to Rumble, and I have great confidence that we will get just as many viewers on Rumble. We will hit 11, 14 people each stream, because we bring you the news that Ariel Helwani is scared to repeat, because he's trying to mend his friendship with Dana White. Well, guess what? Dana White's never been our friend. We asked him to be, and he told us to go fuck ourselves. So now we're on our own. Simon, how's your week been?
Oh, the week's been great, ladies and gentlemen. But unfortunately, the two guys that work here, Mike and Scott let the clown in, and MMA Guru and Howard Turn in this week, ladies and gentlemen. I had to go and cancel and, put it on lock or whatever the stupid thing is. And, take it to private, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you're not going to see those other programs that ran in the Fecked Up Studios, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, my week's been great. Yours, champ?
It's been a great week. Momentous week. At my day job, 2 people got sacked this week. I was not expecting that. And, I'm away on holiday next week. So this is just... I'm in a great mood. I know that this is going to be one of the most significant, impactful combat sports broadcasts that has ever taken place. All right? Anyone at home, if you've got copies of the Ring magazine, even if they're old, valuable, original copies, burn them. Burn them, because they are nothing compared to what we are doing here. Okay? And who's the schizo, Victor Muniz? Who's the schizo?
I don't know who he's talking about. I mean, every once in a while, people come in and they're like schizo and, what the hell is this and things like that. I have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, people just don't like black crows or something. I don't know what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not that hard to work it out, okay? It's a bird in a birdhouse and a guy from Scotland talking about things that occasionally overlap with the world of mixed martial arts, but mostly make no sense whatsoever, okay? And if you can't believe that, if you can't understand that, just click like and subscribe and watch every single show we ever do until you start to understand it. Simon?
Yeah, exactly. So, Victor has been in here before, and he has left comments, in this same vein as this comment right here. But ladies and gentlemen, last night, a new subscriber, ladies and gentlemen, that gave us great material last night. Well, when Howard Turn was in here, I should say. That's the only one that's still up for the public, ladies and gentlemen. You might want to check that out. But Gold gave us gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Gold. You are a golden human being. If that's what you are. Maybe you're also a bird. But we greatly appreciate what you have done for this growing community.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You got to appreciate people like Gold. When they're giving you gold, you take the gold. It's like if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Feck and the champ definitely beat the man, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not talking about Victor, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about, the whole of the people, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, people often forget, they think that we're just enthusiasts that do this, but they forget that we are actually already objectively the greatest combat sports reporters of all time. And we make it look easy. That's the problem, Simon. We make it look easy what we do. But the fans, they have no idea how much we struggle for this show, how much preparation we put into this show. We have to take time away from our families, I've got 5 kids, okay? They're not eating today.
And Simon Feck has 5 birds, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you do. You got 5 birds. Now, I see someone in the chat, and it's an old friend from a continent so far away that some people argue that it should be considered another planet. I don't know how you feel about that, Simon, but he's asking to come on the show.
Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, an old friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we got Issac Newton in here, ladies and gentlemen. Isaac. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen. When Isaac comes in, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to act sophisticated, okay? And you too, Victor, make sure you act sophisticated. Isaac can't hear us right now, but ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Issac Newton. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Issac Newton, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. He's back.
How you doing, Issac Newton? It's been a little while.
The apple fell on my head and it's deemed me unconscious for the last 4 weeks. I've only just woken up.
Wow.
The first thing you did was come on this show.
Exactly. And I was in such a hurry to go to the toilet. I pulled my wiener out, I took a piss, and I went straight on my foot. I missed the seat. I missed the hole, the big hole.
You never want to miss the hole, Isaac.
No.
I mean, that's one of the important things in life, Isaac, is not to miss the hole.
Oh, I missed everything.
I sometimes have trouble finding the hole when I'm at the toilet.
Oh, normally when that happens, I just put some hair around the hole.
Interesting. That's an interesting strategy.
There's a life lesson right there from Isaac, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, chap.
Well, I was going to ask, Isaac, did you find that from the MMA rumor mill? Is that where you found that tip?
Sorry, could you ask that again?
The trick with the hair around the hole?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Is that from the MMA rumor mill?
Partially. He helped me. He was a gateway to the philosophy behind that.
It unlocked the knowledge.
Sorry?
It unlocked the knowledge, like a key.
Yeah, it unlocked some esoteric knowledge in the back of my subconscious mind.
Simon, I've got to ask you, do you find often that there's trouble finding the hole, or are you generally quite good with it?
Well, unlike Isaac there, Isaac likes to put hair around the hole. I like to put feathers around the hole. See? That way you can definitely find it. At least when you're a black crow like me, Simon Feck, 1 foot cock, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
People often ask why, my fight name is 1 foot cock.
And why is that?
Oh, I'm glad you asked there, champ. I'm glad you asked. Because they call me 1 foot cock. That's why, ladies and gentlemen.
I see. That's great. I mean, I would go in, right? I would have no shame. Let's go champ. The first UFC fighter who openly has a micro penis. I would just go in and own it. You know, because then it's win-win. If I lose, you only beat the guy with the micro penis. But if I win, even though I had a micro penis, I still dominated the fight. I think that's a gold strategy. And that, I think other people in the MMA world are latching onto that kind of, that mode of thinking, and we'll come to that later on.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, that is a gold strategy, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. So, Laura's hot, ladies and gentlemen, says gold, right?
She is.
Yeah.
She's hot. People forget that, man. People forget. Laura Sanko. Yeah, people forget, man. Laura Sanko, hot.
That's another win for Paul Craig.
Paul Craig.
Yeah, he's retired.
He's retired, actually.
Yeah, he retired in his last fight. He got knocked
saw
out.
That. Yeah. Dude, that was a crazy knockout, actually.
Yeah.
That was...
Well,
it was... Sorry.
Well, Bo Nickel retired Paul Craig because, you know, he was doing, you know, so many attempts at, you know, at a takedown on him. You know, Paul Craig got, you know, he got really tired and worn out.
Yeah.
It took his cardio away just stuffing all the takes down from Bo Nickel.
That's right. Paul Craig now has lifetime takedown fatigue from preventing all the shots that Bo Nickel took in that fight, which I think was like 60 per round or something it averaged out at.
Yeah, it was upwards of 100, I think.
Wow. That's crazy. That's like, I mean, people think Marab shoots a lot of takedowns, but Bo Nickel's shooting 100 takedowns per round on someone like Paul Craig. Now Paul Craig's knees are gone. They're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple birds that I play with. There's some flamingos, and their knees are backwards, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that right?
That's right.
Wow. Now, let me ask you something about flamingos. Do they fly?
Well, when I'm chasing them, they do, champ. When Simon Feck's chasing the flamingo, you know, they're scared of the black crows, I'm telling you that right now. But they don't run very good because their knees are backwards. They run right to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, put that in your pipe and smoke it, ladies and gentlemen. When Simon Feck, the black crow, is chasing a flamingo, ladies and gentlemen, when they start to run, they run backwards, ladies and gentlemen, right into the wings of the Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen, because their knees are backwards, ladies and gentlemen.
Flamingos' knees are backwards. People forget, man. Knees are backwards.
I mean, that's a gold statement right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know, people forget, man.
Gold, like a golden flamingo. Do you think there exists a gold flamingo like the gold chocobo in Final Fantasy VII?
Well, I don't know, but if you ever watch that show, the MMA-holes, right? So that guy Moss, he puts on golden gloves when he does a fight companion, and
Is that right?
yeah, and he has a bird there. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, to answer your question, I mean, somebody that should be smart enough would be a gentleman by the name of Issac Newton. I mean, he's got a brain.
I actually have 3/4 of a brain.
Is that following the Apple incident?
Yeah, I lost all my IQ. That's how I discovered gravity.
I see. It does sound like something that would exist in the dark realms of the internet. A strange, forbidden theory that has slowly come to light.
And I met a MMA fighter. See, I've just come from the past also. couple hundred years from the past. I actually met in when I was in limbo, when I was coming to the future, to the present. I met up with a fighter with the name of Bryce Hall. Who's also, yes, another genius. Yes.
Yeah.
Did Bryce Hole have hair around it?
Yes, he definitely had hair.
That's hot. That's hot,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
That's hot.
And he went fishing too. He likes fishing with German men.
Yeah. He's a big. Yeah. What he likes to do is find people who eventually would go on to do incredibly, unspeakably awful things, and he likes to time travel to before they do those things. And he's like, "Hey man, before you go and do all that insane shit you've got planned, let's go fishing. Let's go and catch some trout."
Ladies,
by horrible things, I hope you mean doing methamphetamine. Yes, nothing else, right?
Well, I think if we're talking about the same guy, I think he did a few horrible things, but we don't have to talk about that in great detail in this show. After last week's show, Ash, did you watch the show last week?
No, but my dad told me. What is about some guy or something?
Yeah. What was he called? The guy? No filter or no chill MMA. This guy was like super funny, but he kept coming out with the most outrageous shit, talking about Charlie Kirk and stuff. It was. But he's funny. He's good. He just has a tendency to say things that slightly. It made my asshole clench when he was talking several times. I'll say that.
Yeah. So No Chill came up with some crazy stuff, you know, and then the champ's talking about his asshole, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen. Every person I talk to on this show, including you, Simon, I have a spreadsheet with lots of data capturing how many times my asshole clench on average when I talk with you on a day-by-day basis. So, you too, Ash.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Nice to be included.
Yeah. I'll share that information at some point. Once the data is more comprehensive, I'll put it out there. But, guys, I don't think there were any fights last night, was there?
No. Oh, the next fight night is in my city.
Is it really?
In Perth.
Yeah, Dominic Reyes, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I should go walk there. I'll do the podcast in there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That would be fucking awesome. Who's Dominic Reyes fighting?
Carlos Olberg.
Right, okay. Oh, well, that's a winnable fight, I think.
Yeah. Man.
That should be great. And I mean, there's a few big cards coming up, is there not? Is Marab not fighting soon?
Yeah, Co-Main and Alex Pereira and Ankalaev.
Wow, that's great.
And then JDM is the next one.
Oh,
also from Perth.
Nice. Yeah, that's going to be a great fight. Him and...
Yeah, I really want him to win.
Do you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I trained a few times at the gym. I didn't really talk to him. I talked to his brother more because he did the classes. But I remember once, it was like my first or second time I went there. It was like 11 a.m. on a Monday. And I remember I was taking my shoes off and I was getting ready for the class. And I remember I was looking down and then I saw this guy's feet next to me. And then I looked up and then I saw like the most jacked physique I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what the hell? Then I looked up and it was JDM. He was just smirking at me and he gave me a fist bump. And I was like, man, like, he was just so chill. It was the weirdest thing though.
He wasn't running around with his shirt off, sweating in a parking lot.
Oh, that's what I was there for.
That's hot.
You're doing laps in the parking lot waiting for Steve Issac to show up.
Wait, I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy named the Ashe did. I don't ever remember you being on the show, Isaac, telling that story. So we got a new person in here, ladies and gentlemen. JW, ladies and gentlemen. What does it say there?
I heard Kyle Anthony Me can't find his own micro. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, well, he's talking about penises.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a common thing, man. The micro penis, you know, you gotta find it somehow. You go in there with a map, you navigate, you put hair around it, you'll be alright. I'm tired of charging my phone at Circle K. Thanks, Argenti. Oh, gold. Bringing us back into the Argenti drama. Now, this is nowhere near finished, I don't think. This is really just the start of what will be the clash of two titans of MMA YouTube. What do you guys think about that?
Who is he referring to?
Argenti.
Who's that?
Yeah, there you go. So Giuliani Argenti is an ex-friend of the Clown Show Live, you know, that big turd from Arkansas, ladies and gentlemen. But Argenti, he has about 9 people that watch his live streams, and then the next day he gets 1,000 subs. It's every day. He gets 1,000 subs a day, but only 9 views.
Sounds like a very by the books kind of man.
There you have it.
Legitimate.
So
you have to wonder, those 1,000 subscribers, they must really, it's kind of a statistical anomaly, isn't it? To have that many people who are like, oh, I should watch this show, and then 990 of them forget to watch it every single time.
that's true. Another thing, too, ladies and gentlemen, can somebody answer this question, ladies and gentlemen? Why does Moss from the MMA-holes cry when he watches movies? Can anybody answer that for me?
Well, Moss has a heart of gold. I think we can all agree on that. And sometimes when you're watching a movie like Toy Story or P.S. I Love You, sometimes the parallels to real life are just so strong that it's like a cathartic thing to cry. I have to admit, I also cry quite often at movies. And also, I sometimes cry out my asshole as well if I've had like a strong coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Isaac.
So Moss from the MMA-holes, ladies and gentlemen, Moss from the MMA-holes says that he cried when he watched Pinocchio, ladies and gentlemen. Yet his wife was sitting there watching the movie with him, and his wife didn't cry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, why is Moss, the man with the warrior haircut, ladies and gentlemen, why is Moss crying when he watches Pinocchio, ladies and gentlemen?
I can answer that. I mean, I would cry too if I was watching a movie and there's a man named Geppetto, and he is randomly, he has no wife, no nothing, and all of a sudden he has a little boy with him.
Oh, that's a little bit suspicious, ladies and gentlemen.
And his name is Geppetto.
Oh my goodness. Isaac, that's why we have Issac Newton on every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
He's connected the dots.
But I thought Moss was watching the movie Beauty and the Beast, and it kind of reminded him of his own life, you know what I'm saying? I thought that's why he might be crying. But yet, I heard that Moss from the MMA-holes was crying when he watched the movie Nina Drama Paints Her Toenails, ladies and gentlemen.
That's an emotional film, you know. I mean, it really captures the depth of everything that Nina Drama has been doing since she came onto the MMA scene. It takes you on a kind of a roller coaster of emotions. When I watched it myself, I laughed, I cried. It was an incredible movie. I believe she's up for an Oscar for this because she played herself, and it will actually be the first OnlyFans video footage to be nominated for an Oscar. So it's going to be a momentous occasion if she does win.
No, absolutely. But yet, there's reports out there that Moss from the MMA-holes cries watching movies. He was watching Deaf Ref Dan Merculata gets hearing aids.
Yeah. I mean, again, listen, Moss, he cries at all these movies, you know. Dan Merculata going into movies, we were all really happy for Dan, but we knew that someone like Moss was going to cry watching the movie about Dan Merculata getting hearing aids, because obviously everyone knows that Dan Merculata is always saying, what? So it's to see the impact that having hearing aids had on Dan Merculata's life. It was emotional, I have to admit, and I can understand why Moss cried. I heard that Moss also cried at There's Something About Marab. You know anything about that?
Yeah, it's Marab and the Takedown Factory. It's sort of like a play on, you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's Marab and the Takedown Factory.
Marab and the Takedown Factory. It's good, and they're just pumping out takedowns in big vats of like syrup and honey. It's all very tasty, and there's takedowns everywhere. You know, it's like heaven for a grappler, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Also, instead of like Harry Met Sally, Moss from the MMA-holes was crying watching the movie Laura Sanko Met Dean Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was it was an interesting one. You know, the way that it kind of bridged the age gap and the different experiences that Laura Sanko and Dean Thomas had. But I would say I was tempted to cry at that. Moss did, and I think that maybe Moss, maybe he's misinterpreted the film and thought it was more meaningful than it actually was. I heard that Moss also cried at American History Nazi.
Oh yeah. I mean that's public news right there. You know, I mean we're trying to figure out why Moss cries watching movies, and then his wife sits right next to him, and she doesn't cry, ladies and gentlemen. And Moss has that warrior haircut, ladies and gentlemen. Yet he's crying watching movies like that, and also like Sleepless in Phoenix, ladies and gentlemen. And then there's a statement, like in a movie, you know, like a famous quote in a movie, you know, it's like it's something like, ever dance with MMA Rigo in a pale moonlight? You know, like the Joker, you know, the Jokers, yeah. Ever dance with MMA Joey in a pale moonlight, ladies and gentlemen?
Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Now, see, Issac Newton is going ahead and saying the original. He's saying the original, you know, classic line in the movie Batman, ladies and gentlemen.
That's because Issac Newton has a kind of he's a cinemaphile, you know. He knows everything there is about movies. But Issac, did you know that the UFC are bringing out these crossover movies?
Crossover movies?
So what they're doing is, well, they're taking existing movies, okay? So let's say Battle Royale, the Japanese film, they're putting out one now called Apex Royale, and it's just 30 unranked fighters dressed like Japanese school kids running around with exploding collars and guns, and it's going to be huge, you know.
Well, they can have Mark Coleman, like with his knees, you know, banging those drums with his meniscus.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Coleman's a good friend of Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. But also, Moss. You know, we're trying to figure out why Moss cries when he watches movies, ladies and gentlemen. So Moss was watching Finding Nemo, ladies and gentlemen. And then he knew about the knockoff movie, ladies and gentlemen. He knew the knockoff movie was Finding the Clown Show live on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. But yet he finally found it on Kick, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And he was crying, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Moss would cry at that.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there's also the UFC are also doing crossover movies not about mixed martial arts. There's a non-violent version of the Smashing Machine coming out, and I know that Moss has already seen it. I think it's called the Kindness Machine. Moss watched it with his girlfriend, and he cried, and she did not.
That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You know what? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he should play Conor McGregor in a movie about Conor McGregor.
Well,
His accent, his acting ability is so phenomenal. He can do anything.
Yeah. I
Well,
agree. I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could play Demetrius Johnson as well.
and don't forget, The Rock has a new movie out that Moss was crying watching. It's called The Rock Goes Bald, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, to play Demetrius Johnson, he could just take his shins off, and he'd probably be about the right measurements.
Yeah. And to bring it back to what Simon was saying, the Rock Goes Bald. I heard that Moss was crying because he wanted to stop watching the movie, and his girlfriend said, "No, we're watching it." Even though The Rock Goes Bald is a 3-hour and 45-minute movie, his girlfriend said, "No, we're watching this." And Moss was crying because he didn't want to watch it past the 2-hour mark.
Ah.
And don't forget the movie. Kainotto actually knows Moss very well, ladies and gentlemen. And we're trying to figure out why Moss cries when he watches movies, ladies and gentlemen. And his wife's by his side, and she's not crying. So Moss, the man with the warrior haircut, was watching the movie Finding Nina, ladies and gentlemen. And he was crying, ladies and gentlemen. He was bawling.
That's very good, actually. That was very good, Kainotto. I'm impressed. We didn't think of that. So that was, Kainotto, probably the smartest person in this growing community, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, a lot smarter than Issac Newton. I mean...
Well, everyone in here is smarter than me, but that's not much of an accomplishment, if we're being completely honest. What else have we got? Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson can play Mike Perry. I love that.
Yeah, Mike Perry, the fake boxer, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck was doing media, ladies and gentlemen, at that stupid, I don't know, Mike Perry versus, who's that guy from Ohio,
With Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul. So Simon Feck showed up there a day early, checking out or not, right? So Simon Feck is backstage, ladies and gentlemen, and they're giving everybody cue cards, They're giving everybody cue cards, and they told Mike Perry that he had to say, "I'll eat everything you got, Jake Paul. Jake Paul, I'll eat everything you got." Okay, you heard it there from Simon Feck, and that's no skit bit. Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
And did Mike not want to say, "I'll eat everything you've got"?
He didn't. He was like, because they go, and then they said, and then there was this guy and this girl there, and then they were saying, does Jake Paul need, his cue cards? And I'm telling you, the only thing on that cue card was Mike Perry to say, "I'll eat everything you got." I'm not kidding you. They gave him a cue card that said that. I mean, like, take it home and study it. I'm not kidding you, man. So anyways, yeah, that's right. The Rock can play, Mike Perry in a movie, and then Moss can cry, That'll be a great movie. It'll be, "I'm Mike Perry, and I'll eat everything you got, The Rock. The Rock, I'll eat everything you got.
Are you guys ready?
Now listen. Hold on a second, Isaac. So then they give Ariel. I got a picture. The Simon Feck has a picture with Ariel Helwani. Okay, so at that event, they give Ariel Helwani cue card. And I'm standing next to Ariel Helwani. He's got his blue jacket on. Right, this is the day before the fights. Okay, 2 days before the fights, I think. So then they give him a cue card, and Ariel Helwani early in the fight has to say, if Mike Perry doesn't get his hands up, he's going to lose this fight. That goes along with Mike Perry having to say, I'll eat everything you got. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Perry is a fake boxer, ladies and gentlemen. And he's boxing for a legit boxing federation, and he has his own boxing federation, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Perry is a fake boxer, ladies and gentlemen. And I happen to know Mike Perry. I've known him very well. He's from Orlando, Florida over there, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck is outside Tampa, ladies and gentlemen. I've known Mike Perry for 8 years, and you are a fake boxer. Coming from Simon Feck, 1 foot cock, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Isaac.
I was just going to ask, are you guys excited for the Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou for the flyweight championship?
It's going to be a difficult weight cut for both men.
Yeah, I think the fight will be won before the fight even starts. And I'm very curious to witness such a tremendous weight cut.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to not only do a water cut, but they're going to have to try and... Do you know how you get those bags that you put like your duvet and stuff in, and then you suck the water out to make it to the compress? I think they'll both need that. They'll need to get the hoses in their mouth to suck all the oxygen out of their bodies until they're like wrinkled and flat on the ground, and then they might...
Yeah, or they could get a limb transplant, like take their limbs off, and then put them back on.
Yeah.
And whoever makes it to the octagon will win.
That's coming in, the weight transplants, so that people can get their limbs removed before the weigh-in, and then as soon as they weigh in, they have a sandwich, and then they get their limbs reattached so that they can fight like 20 hours later. It's just modern medicine is crazy, you know.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I can't wait for the event after that. Demetrius Johnson going up to heavyweight to make his heavyweight debut.
Yeah. I mean, the thing now that Demetrius Johnson is kind of retired, well, he was retired. He's been gaining weight. Do you guys think that he'll be able to meet the 260-pound limit easily?
I'm not sure. He might have to cut, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult for him.
Dr. Cock and Balls.
All these people coming in, I've never seen these usernames before. And this is cool. We're actually seeing all these new people pop in. Dr. Cock and Balls, you are a man of culture, and or it could be a woman, couldn't it? You're a lady of culture. We're glad to have you aboard.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck keeps getting kicked out of his own stream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm having trouble putting the comments up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go through these comments, but it's just not working. At least we got Simon Feck's, camera and voice working. Now the next thing, I don't know why it is, but I can't put the comments up. I'm trying, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I can read you the comments if you like. So you have the next person asking who has a better side profile, Simon or Ariel.
Okay, but when we read these, you gotta let me know who it is, who it comes from.
Kainotto.
Okay, what did he say again? I'm sorry.
He said, who has the better side profile, Simon or Ariel?
Ladies and gentlemen, Kainotto comes in with a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Ariel Helwani is, ladies and gentlemen, you keep your nose to your own self, ladies and gentlemen. You're not poking your nose in other people's business, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying?
He said,
Yeah.
and then he also said, when Ariel does the backstroke in the ocean, people freak out because they think it's a great white shark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kainotto says that when Ariel Helwani does the backstroke out swimming in the ocean, they think he's a shark, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I say something? And this is totally unrelated to anything going on in this show right now. But I was commuting to work this week, and I go over like a small ocean on the train on a bridge, and I saw a dolphin on the way to work. I was so fucking happy. Yeah, but I wasn't going to work as well. It was just swimming.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I teared up a little bit.
Wow.
And
I'm happy for you.
thank you.
Did you tear up any worse than Moss when he watches Pinocchio?
Probably not. I know that Moss really cheers up when he watches Pinocchio. He's a big fan of that movie.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when Moss cries when he watches Pinocchio, maybe because he's seeing himself, in the movie himself, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. But to me, I see Pinocchio as Ariel Helwani, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you think that Ariel tells lies?
Oh, no. Ariel, he tells the truth. Now, Ariel Helwani got fired. He got fired from whatever he was over there at Vox Media, ladies and gentlemen. Ariel Helwani got fired because he was on a legit sports media program, ladies and gentlemen, and he went over to, what's his name, Jake Paul, right? Ariel Helwani is in the category now of Mike Perry, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Perry is a fake boxer, and Ariel Helwani is a fake media guy, ladies and gentlemen. When he's commenting, ladies and gentlemen, on the Jake Paul stuff, he knows it's fake. You heard it here from Simon Feck, and this is no skit bit. Simon Feck was backstage and seen it, what was behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck thought he was supposed to show up at 1 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, but he was supposed to show up at 3 o'clock, and he got there 2 hours early, ladies and gentlemen, and he's seen a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Ariel Helwani doesn't lie at all, ladies and gentlemen. He's there commenting on a fake boxing match, acting like it's real, ladies and gentlemen, and he got fired from Vox Media because he wanted to be a superstar and go ahead and interview people, be on TV, and get fed a whole bunch of money. Jake Paul wanted somebody that was like legit. Well, Ariel Helwani went over to the dark side, ladies and gentlemen. He went from the dark side to the darker side, ladies and gentlemen. There's your answer.
And I mean, I've got another question for you, following on from that. If they were to fight today, who wins, Mike Perry or Ariel Helwani? And how does that fight go?
Well, if it's at a Jake Paul event, I mean, anybody could win, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Ariel Helwani, all he's got to do is turn his head real fast and knock out the chin of Mike Perry with that big nose of his. And I mean, I don't know anything about big noses. Isn't that right, Issac Newton?
Yes. Oh, surprise guest in my room just walked in. It's Kermit the Frog. Oh, hey guys, it's me, Kermit. I just want to ask your opinion. What do you think about Miss Piggy?
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Piggy, I don't know, being a black crow and everything, I look down from the tree limbs and I see Miss Piggy walking around down there and I see that ass just moving back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking about sticking my pecker in it, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, that's my wife you're talking about. Oh, calm down, Mr. Kermit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Kermit, you have to be open to new experiences, and if your wife wants to be, play the field, as they say, you should be fully encouraging of that.
Oh, yeah, if you put it that way, yeah.
Let me tell you something, people. There's nothing better than Kermit the Frog having an Australian accent, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we can certainly pull the impressions out here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Issac Newton, the dead Issac Newton, pulling out Kermit the Frog with an Australian accent. What show? Name a show right now that can pull that off, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we have Arnold Schwarzenegger in the chat.
Can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger when he cheated on Maria? Imagine him every day. This Mexican maid is walking through his house. Oh, housekeeping! I cannot control my impulses. This is my castle. I'm gonna fuck you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Simon Feck Show, we have a ringer, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, when you're plugging that Mexican maid, are you swinging or do you got a micro?
This is my burrito. My 10-inch burrito.
You're telling me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that you have a 10-inch burrito between your legs? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger on here, and he doesn't want to say a word, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we got gold here, ladies and gentlemen. No other. Ariel Helwani doesn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger. Moss from the MMA-holes and the Gummy Gang doesn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger. MMA Joey doesn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger. Simon Feck and the Champ and Issac Newton have Arnold Schwarzenegger on here, and Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't want to say a word, ladies and gentlemen. So Arnold, why did you move to the United States or whatever? Did they have better weights there to lift or something? I mean, is like the gravity different over here in the United States or what? Ladies and gentlemen, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is on some kind of medicine, ladies and gentlemen. I mean,
the psychedelics. I'm having an ego death.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger was walking around his house being the Terminator. He was trying to terminate his wife, ladies and gentlemen, plugging the Mexican maid, ladies and gentlemen.
The only thing he managed to terminate was his concept of who he really was.
Exactly. I mean, so do we have anything in the chat for Arnold Schwarzenegger, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, we got some great people in here like Kainotto and Gold and everything like that. Does anybody have anything they want to ask Arnold Schwarzenegger? Maybe that'll pull it out, Doesn't look like he's pulling out that 10-inch burrito, ladies and gentlemen.
Which is a disappointment. Someone did ask, Gold asked, is someone going to fraud check death sentence?
Well, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger's got something to say about that.
Yep.
Well, I mean, put me in the cage. I'll fuck him up.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Schwarzenegger just told you that he will fuck up, what's his name?
Death sentence.
Death sentence. Oh, my.
And Gold is also asking, Arnold, did you feel bad for cheating on your wives?
What came first? What did the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Yeah, so Arnold Schwarzenegger these days, ladies and gentlemen, he is starting a new trend. He has the muscles on the bottom of his arm now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I became a vegan.
I'm
a vegan.
Yeah. You heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. Even a manly man like Arnold Schwarzenegger is a vegan, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Arnold, can I also ask? Kainotto asked, did that Mexican woman have giant twins under her shirt?
She had salami nipples, pancakes.
Jesus, right there, Arnold Schwarzenegger, ladies and gentlemen, giving you the physique of, his Mexican maid, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. If we don't get cancelled, we'll at least get assassinated by one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's shooters. So, that's good.
Maybe someone will throw an egg on us, like they did to him. Egg-assassinated.
I think I'd prefer to be shot than be covered in egg,
Hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Gold wants to know, Arnold, are you off the steroids? Wait, what does it say? I can't read it.
Arnold, was all the steroids worth it?
Yes, because now I live in my castle. I fuck anyone I want, Mexicans, Americans, Germans, fuck them all.
I mean, that would have been a great one from Arnold Schwarzenegger to make into a short, ladies and gentlemen. But Arnold has a filthy mouth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, maybe this next one could be made into a short. Kainotto asks Arnold, did you do like Mr. Freeze and call ice on that Mexican broad?
No comment from Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor of California, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger can properly answer that, ladies and gentlemen.
Is the governor. I changed my mind. I depose everyone. Men, women, children, the Ice Age, the dinosaurs. Jesse Ventura.
Ladies and gentlemen, one thing you don't know is back in the day, Arnold Schwarzenegger had 600 pounds on a barbell, ladies and gentlemen, and it fell on his head, ladies and gentlemen.
CTE.
This is perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody thought Arnold Schwarzenegger, being governor, had a brain like Isaac Newton, ladies and gentlemen. But this is living proof that Arnold Schwarzenegger is dumb as shit, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's pull Yarick.
Ladies and gentlemen, none other than the Simon Feck Show brings you Arnold Schwarzenegger for the MMA community, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Isaac Newton on here, ladies and gentlemen, and a champ, ladies and gentlemen, and a black crow named Simon Feck. I mean, who else can bring you this? Ariel Helwani can't bring you this. Wait a minute. Ariel Helwani's fake, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. And he lies, too. That's why Ariel Helwani is known as Pinocchio, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why Moss from the MMA-holes cries when he watches Pinocchio, ladies and gentlemen.
Arnold, Gold has a follow-up question. How does it feel to be a commie?
Oh, maybe Ariel Helwani, me, can answer that.
Oh my God, we have Ariel Helwani on the show, and Kermit the Frog, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Isaac Newton, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, who else can we get on the show here, ladies and gentlemen? And we're sitting at 5 high, ladies and gentlemen. All this entertainment right here, we got 5 concurrent viewers, ladies and gentlemen.
And we've got a new viewer in the chat, mid-strength, saying Arnold Alphabet was one of the first to try being smothered in Vaseline for weight loss. I had no idea that happened. Now, Ashe, are you aware of this discussion that we've been having?
I believe this is my father. This is my father commenting.
Is that right? Listen, you've got supportive parents, but to be honest, are they supportive, or do they just recognize that this show is absolutely going to be the biggest show on the internet one day? Bigger than PewDiePie.
Every corner of the globe.
Yeah. I can see us being broadcast in like cafes and like Bangalore and stuff like that. because what we do has such wide-ranging appeal. You know, it's accessible for everyone.
Well, I want to know. I want to know, when did Ashe enter? We have Kermit the Frog, Issac Newton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Ashe. I mean, when did Ashe enter the studio, ladies and gentlemen?
He always seems to show up when all these other interesting characters decide to come on the show. It's a funny coincidence. And I wonder, is Charles Oliveira possibly going to make an appearance on this show? There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Olives himself. This really is the hub of mixed martial arts culture. Is it true that sorry, I'll read this question. Kainotto, is it true that the proper pronunciation for... Okay, I'm not reading that. Sorry. Gold asked, can we get DJT on the show? Donald J. Trump.
Well, I don't know. We're trying to channel Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
Donald Trump.
I guess that was a showstopper right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't know if people know this, okay? But Dana White, you know, he built Fight Island, ladies and gentlemen. Dana White built Fight Island. It wasn't for COVID, ladies and gentlemen. That was just a cover-up, ladies and gentlemen, because Dana White has called upon Richard Branson, you know, the Virgin Records guy, the Virgin Rocket Man. That's right. Dana White wants to move. He wants the new frontier of MMA fighting, ladies and gentlemen. After UFC White House, ladies and gentlemen, Trump, Richard Branson, and Dana White are going to provide you UFC Moon, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
I mean, imagine a Superman punch on the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. They're going to have to rename it to like the Lunar Punch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And it's going to be at 4 miles an hour. So it's going to be really interesting to see how fights play out and how the reduced amount of gravity affects the fighters. Also, if they're fighting in the usual UFC kit, it will be interesting to see how long they can survive without oxygen as well. You know, I give them a minute, maybe.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, they should just put them up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Hamzat's going to say, one small takedown for crotch sniffers and one giant leap for stand-up fighters, ladies and gentlemen, because of the gravity. The gravity is going to have them moving all over the place. There isn't going to be any blanket fighting, ladies and gentlemen. The cage is going to have to be, you know, like cubular, if that's a word, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like Beyond Thunderdome, you know, like Mad Max stuff, you know, like Master Blaster, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's going to be... I mean, you imagine Hamzat trying to lock in that crucifix on DDP. They're just going to float into the air because no gravity.
That's right. And then it'll give a whole new meaning to grabbing the fence, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They'll be grabbing the fence with their feet high above them, swinging around. And it's going to be... Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The 3-Eye Atlas, this interstellar object that is coming into the solar system. Maybe this is like two fighters that they tried in a different galaxy or something, and they just floated. You know, and it could be their version where like the striking is like known as the coward's art form or whatever, and it's switched around.
Yeah, and you know how Laura Sanko's scared, you know, to have diarrhea in the cage, right? So imagine Laura Sanko on fighting UFC Moon and diarrhea, ladies and gentlemen. That gives a whole new meaning to diarrhea in the cage, ladies and gentlemen, with the gravity.
Yeah, with how little diarrhea is going to weigh, because it's mostly liquid and so then some fecal matter, it's going to be floating all around the place. So it's going to be difficult for Laura Sanko and whoever she's fighting to avoid the kind of... They'll be floating around like, when you blow bubbles? That's what the diarrhea will look like.
Yeah, so looking at that, champ, it's hard for me to read it. Can you read the last comment down there?
Right, okay, so that's Gold saying, can we get DJT on the show? And then Gold...
What is... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, the last comment is from someone's father, I believe. What's Luna spelt backwards?
I believe, to me, I don't know, I'm a dumb bird. Is that anal?
I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
At UFC Luna, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness.
UFC Luna spelled backwards, ladies and gentlemen, is UFC anal, ladies and gentlemen. That's like a crotch sniffer, ladies and gentlemen. Going down and sniffing crotches, UFC anal. I mean, Luna, ladies and gentlemen.
But what do you call it when someone has a fighting style where they're crotch sniffing, but they're crotch sniffing from behind?
We call that
not
gay.
I think he's just getting his face smashed in.
I don't know. In the bird community, we call that gay. Ladies and gentlemen.
I've heard it's called rim style, because you're going around the edges of several different fighting techniques. So it's called rim style.
Oh, so you're going to the edges. Is that like edging or something?
Yeah, exactly. It's a new school of fighting, and there's a lot to be explored there. And not everyone's enthusiastic about it because of what you might discover while you're fighting this way. Gold asks, what are the UFC planning to do with the Meta VR headset?
Who are you asking there, champ?
Well, I'm asking both of you. There is a Meta VR headset in the Apex. I was of the impression that they were going to be used to watch the clan fights. Simon, have you any insight on that?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm just a stupid bird with a bird brain, ladies and gentlemen. But today only on the Simon Feck Show, ladies and gentlemen, super chats are free. And if you want to type any comment in, we'll read it. We'll read it over this live broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. But we won't mention your name, okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Kainotto also says Arnold can survive a long time without oxygen. I mean, you know how much time he spent under that Mexican rumen?
Well, hold on a second. How come did Arnold Schwarzenegger leave?
Did he leave?
No, did he leave?
Is he gone?
I mean, you would think. You would kind of think that Arnold Schwarzenegger would have said something right after that comment. I don't know.
Come on, maybe.
Okay, that's good enough, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger has been drinking, ladies and gentlemen.
But I think, well, let me rephrase it a different way for you, Arnold. When she was laying on top of you like a pancake, and no matter which way you turned your head, you could not get any oxygen. What was that experience like, and how long did you survive before passing out?
I was stuck under there for...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for the 7 of you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger here, ladies and gentlemen. But what we're going to have to do, we're either going to have to put it into Australia language or whatever, maybe in English. I don't know what language he wants it in, but I guess we're going to have to get Arnold Schwarzenegger a script, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We're going to have to get him some antipsychotics because he took an edible and he thought he was having a good time. And then that thing happened where you're just like, oh shit, I'm getting really high. Okay, it's going to stop soon. And it doesn't stop. And you keep getting higher and higher and higher. And that's where Arnold's at right now. So, Arnold, our thoughts and prayers are with you, my friend. Gold asks, is Power Slap the dumbest thing ever invented? I mean, it is bigger than every sport combined. And no, actually, Power Slap is not the dumbest thing ever invented. This show that you're watching right now is. Any thoughts on that, guys? Any input?
Well, I'd like to argue that the wheel was the dumbest thing ever.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
because,
yeah. Sorry.
It made people. It made people lazy. You know.
Yeah. Well, Simon Feck thinks the dumbest thing invented is giving priority to taking somebody down in a mixed martial art, fight organization, right? Okay, so if it's mixed martial arts, why can't I just be a total boxer? But that makes me a disadvantage.
Well, you think that, but then if you play a game like Tekken, there's certain guys in there. I think Paul, he's a boxer and he does okay. No one manages to take him down. But in the UFC, a boxer can't survive. Why is that?
I don't know. Simon Feck was trying to work with this stupid computer, ladies and gentlemen, and he wasn't listening. Let's see if either Kermit the Frog, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Issac Newton, or Ashe, or I don't know how many other characters are in here, ladies and gentlemen. Was he listening?
It's me, Yoda.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. The Simon Feck just added Yoda, ladies and gentlemen. Yoda with an Australian accent. I didn't know Yoda was from Australia, ladies and gentlemen.
The exile I must.
Yoda, why were you thrown into exile and put on Australia? Is it a crime that you feel comfortable talking about?
Geppetto, like Geppetto. Exiled for my own religion.
Lady,
I had a feeling there was something like that. I didn't want to say, but
ladies and gentlemen, the Simon Feck Show is working up upon an hour and a half for the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank everybody that's been in here, ladies and gentlemen. So we were going to have a special guest, but I guess the special guest didn't show up. But then we had special guests. We had Arnold Schwarzenegger. We had Kermit the Frog. We had Issac Newton. We had Yoda, ladies and gentlemen. We had Ashe, the Ashe, ladies and gentlemen. I can't keep up with how many people we've had on the show, ladies and gentlemen. But listen to me right now, ladies and gentlemen. Kainotto, ladies and gentlemen, among others like Western and, Gold and Jill and whoever else, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's important, and we appreciate it all, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's coming in with Planet Uranus. I don't know what that is. That sounds to me like UFC should go to Uranus, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck coming in from Kainotto, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, exclusive. Arnold's mistress, Arnold Schwarzenegger's mistress, last name is Belena, which is Spanish, actually, for whale, ladies and gentlemen. Does Arnold have anything to say about that?
I want to fuck you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a man. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a man of many words, ladies and gentlemen. He's in there sticking his pecker in a whale, ladies and gentlemen. And she's even called a whale. Her title is a whale, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck, 1 foot